In the last 10 years, antidepressants, the number of antidepressants prescribed have doubled. But according to one study, as many as 70% of people taking them, 7 out of 10, could be doing so for no particular reason, unnecessarily. Yeah, well, the problem many patients and doctors are facing is that the classic symptoms of depression are often very similar to those of something else, which is what happened to our next guest, Katinka Blackwood Newman. Now, she pushed for a prescription to deal with her, well, heartbreak, I suppose you could call it, and she says it's a decision that nearly destroyed her life. She's joined us now alongside our NHS doctor, Zoe Williams. Morning to you both. Now, Katinka, what was wrong with you? What did you feel that was wrong with you that you needed to go and seek this out?
Well, actually, funny enough, when I separated from my husband, I coped really, really well with the challenges of being a single mum, and I was training for a half marathon, I was internet dating, I was doing really, really well. And it was actually 8 months after the separation that I just experienced a significant blip, and that was to do with selling the marital home. I just felt really upset about the idea that we were going to have to sell up, and it was where the children had grown up. And
shared history.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I kind of felt very guilty as well. So it was then that I had sleepless nights, and that it was that took me to taking that first antidepressant.
Well, you first went to your GP, who didn't prescribe you antidepressants.
Yes.
What did they tell you?
They said they just said to kind of, well, not to get over it, but just that it was one of those things, and that I would just to carry on as normal, and that was the right advice.
The stress of your divorce.
Yes,
actually,
exactly.
If you worked through that, maybe a bit of counselling.
Absolutely.
So they didn't prescribe them. So you went privately.
That's right. Yes, I went to a private psychiatrist who gave me an antidepressant.
So you weren't looking for a sleeping tablet as such. It was something that would maybe make you sleep and change your mood.
That's
as well,
right.
Which you just felt that you needed.
I had already started taking sleeping tablets, and I now know that I'm one of those people that cannot tolerate that type of medication. So I was already in a bit of a state by the time I went to see the psychiatrist.
So you're probably quite pleased. Actually, thought, good, I've got tablets, and it'll be all better. It'll be wonderful. What happened to you when you started taking them, and how quickly did it happen?
Okay, it happened very quickly. I'm one of the. It's around 1% of people that have a severe reaction to these pills, and I discovered later that I'm one of those people, and so literally within hours I developed the signs of drug toxicity, and one of the first signs is that you have an inability to sit still. It's a condition called akathisia. It's absolutely agonising, and it's accompanied by this sort of inner anguish. So that happened really within hours, and I was in a sort of trance-like state.
Well, alarm bells going off? Are you aware of this, or...?
Well, I'm almost unable to function at that point. I lose the powers of speech at that point.
So you'd gone home, and...
I'm at home at that point.
Fidgeting about and couldn't settle?
Yes, I mean, well, I was in a real state. I was almost in a trance. 2 days later, I was acutely psychotic, and that's when the hallucinations started, and that was extremely alarming. And I remember so clearly, it was like there was a switch, and suddenly I thought, oh, nothing matters. We're in a dream. We're in a video game.
And what sort of hallucinations were you having?
It was really terrifying. It was as if I was looking down on myself, and I saw myself being stabbed in the stomach. I thought that I'd killed the children. In fact, what happened, I have no recollection of this, but I attacked myself with a kitchen knife.
Gosh, now, excuse me, are you on your own? Is there anyone else in the house at the moment?
At that point, my ex-husband had kindly come in to the children. My children were 10 and 11 at the time, and so they'd called him, and they were like, well, something weird is happening.
Are you still taking the tablets?
Yes, at that point I am.
And no one's made the connection yet?
No, because nobody knows what's going on in my head, which are this acute psychosis, which I learned later is very particular to an antidepressant-induced psychosis. So later on, I discovered that when people have this type of psychosis, they have the same hallucinations about knives, dying, guns, all of those things. Obviously, I didn't know that at the time.
Hello, YouTube. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
So next year's the big milestone. 5 years for, especially with bowel cancer, is a big stepping stone, because that's you pretty much, that's the big one, where you're pretty much clear.